Hello. This is May 1st, Friday, but I'm recording this for next week, May 4th through 8th. Um, Welcome, everybody, to Mr. McGaw's Art Expeditions. I'm going to start off by dealing with the fact that this is St. Joseph Day. I think of St. Joseph, and also May, the whole month of May, and May 1st especially, is we remember Mary. So we've got Joseph with the baby Jesus and Mary with the baby Jesus. So, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. And I'll put these two folks right up here with all the other creatures and saints. This is part of my theme today. It's combined, looking at both religious stuff and spirituality and secularism. Secularism means like just the general public, things we do for fun that aren't necessarily connected with religion. So that's kind of a reminder what we've been doing last week. And to start off with, I'm going to read something from Isaiah. Now, I've been reading the the New Testament, and kind of following Jesus' last days on earth and the resurrection. So that's kind of over with. We're in the spirit of Easter now. So I went back and I did something that I've been told I should do on occasion. I don't do it that often, but I did it this time. I was going to go back to the Acts of the Apostles and see what I had to offer there, what I could find. But the theme I'm dealing with is this whole creativity, but in regards to the virus and the way that we're having to do things differently now. And I can't be passing out materials like I used to do all the time. So I have to think other ways to tell you how to work your creative sense. So what I did is I went into the Bible. I did something, and I just opened it at random. I just went like this. Just let's see what they got here. And sometimes you don't find anything at a place, but this time, my first thing I found was just what I wanted. It was just one of those deals that the Spirit works. So this is from Isaiah, and Isaiah is going on and on about the fact that some of the Jewish people weren't maybe being as respectful of the Lord as they ought to be. There was going to be hard times coming, but we'll get through it. So that kind of related to what we're dealing with, hard times, but we're looking for better times. So this is Isaiah chapter 50. And he starts off saying, "The Lord God hath given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak." So that's like Jesus said, the Holy Spirit would come down on the apostles. So he's saying that. That's just a little sentence I liked. So the Lord has given me the power to speak. And I'm shifting over to Isaiah chapter 51 and verses 4 through 11. A little long, but bear with me. Now, this is written in Old English, so my inflection, some of these words might be not quite what you're used to hearing the way that they're written here. Just listen to the basic text behind this. So he's talking to his people saying, "Hearken to me, my people, and give ear unto me, O my nation. For a law shall proceed from me, and I will make judgment to rest for a light of the people. My righteousness is near," he's speaking for God. "My salvation is gone forth, and mine arms shall judge the people. The isles shall wait upon me, and on mine arms shall they trust. Lift up your eyes to the heavens, and look upon the earth beneath. For the heavens shall vanish away like smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment. And they that dwell therein shall die in like manner, but my salvation shall be forever, and my righteousness shall not be abolished." Okay? "Hearken unto me, ye that know righteousness, the people in whose heart is my law. Fear ye not the reproach of men, neither be afraid of their revelings. For the moth shall eat them up like garment, the worm shall eat them up like wool, but my righteousness shall be forever, and my salvation from generation to generation. Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Lord, awake as in the ancient days. Art thou not that had cut Rahab and wounded the dragon? Art not it which hath dried the sea, the waters of the great deep, that hath made the depths of the sea a way for the ransom to pass over? That's Moses going through this great scene. Therefore, the redeemed of the Lord shall return and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their head. And they shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and mourning shall flee away. Okay, it's kind of wordy, and you might not be used to the words exactly the way we talk nowadays, but the whole point, it's like, times could be tough, don't worry about them. The righteous shall be saved, and if somebody was bad in their life and did something wrong, well, God will deal with that later, don't worry about it. So that's Isaiah. He was a real, severe, I'll tell you what kind of guy. So that's Isaiah. And now remember when we started this whole staying at home thing, I said I was going to do a drawing a day. Well, just like anything else, you might have this big goal and you decide, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to write every day or I'm going to work out every day. And well, I didn't write a picture every day. So I kind of got away from that. But I've drawn a lot of pictures. Okay, and I did draw a couple that I haven't shown you, so I'll do that. So you got to give up on goals that they just don't fit into your life the way you thought they might. So instead of me trying to do a drawing a day just because I said I would, I'm saving myself from doing drawings that apply. So here's one I did is sitting on my kitchen counter. And there's just a plant there, and there's my cord to my phone. And see a little cat on the corner walking on the edge of that's a marble countertop. Little model of a cat we have. And the cat looks just like a real cat, so I stick it there. And you're looking out the window at the neighbor's front porch and into the parking lot. So that's the drawing I did. All right. Now, I'm not going to hold this up, make you follow all this. This is stuff I just wrote down so I can go through my presentation and not forget to say something. So the thing I want you to think about today is all the holidays we have. Every country has holidays. We have a bunch here, and other countries have ones for different reasons. We have secular and we have religious holidays. Secular is just like Veterans Day. You can be a veteran and be from any religion. But if you have a religious holiday, like we're Catholics, so we have Catholic holidays. Jews have the Jew holidays, they have Yom Kippur, and that sort of thing. So I'm going to kind of briefly go through some of that stuff, and then I'm going to give you an idea, an assignment, if you want to do it, for something that you can do. All right, so creation of memorable days is my theme. So at the top. And so there's a whole bunch of them. We're just going to hit on some. The winter solstice was something that the ancients celebrated before the times of Jesus. And it was the winter solstice and the summer solstice. The winter solstice is when the days get real short in December, and then around New Year's, they start getting longer again. So this winter solstice was there before Jesus. So after Jesus lived and died, they wanted to celebrate his birth, and they didn't really know for sure when he was born, but they thought, well, he might have been born right around then. So let's just keep some of those customs, and we'll have Jesus' birthday be then. So that's why we have the Yule log. You ever heard of that? The green Christmas tree. The ancients would celebrate the coming of spring with greenery. They would decorate trees. So that's where that comes from. So even though it was there before Jesus, now we think of Jesus, because we put lights on the tree, light of Christ. So these things change over time. And St. Nicholas was a famous bishop, and he used to give out little treats to the kids. And St. Nicholas is Santa Claus. Okay, obviously, he wasn't really a saint with a sled in the sky with reindeer and all that. I don't know where that came from, but over time, these customs just evolved. Okay. Now we have secular ones like Columbus Day. Christopher Columbus came over and found America. And Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims had dinner with the Indians, trying to make peace. That was good. Another one, I touched on this before, but we have Lent. You know what Lent is, and just that starts on Ash Wednesday. Okay, but the night before or the day before is just before Lent, so it's Tuesday. And they call it Mardi Gras, which is Fat Tuesday. So it's a big carnival, like celebration, fancy costumes, singing and dancing. because in Lent you want to be a little more sober and think, how can I improve my spiritual life, that sort of thing. And then you have Easter, Good Friday, the Last Supper, and Ash Wednesday. All these things, those are all religious holidays. But Lent is a religious holiday. Mardi Gras is fun just before you have to get religious. Same thing with Halloween and All Hallows Eve. November 1st is the respect for the dead. The eve before is Halloween, All Hallows Eve, Halloween. That's when we dress up in funny costumes and scare ourselves maybe a little and have fun. So the secular part is Halloween, but it comes from a religious holiday. So things can go either way. It can be religious first and secular second, or the other way around. But they don't all tie together, but a lot of them do. St. Patrick's Day is a secular holiday. You just think of the Irish. It's just respect for the Irish. And then now that brings us down to, well, we have Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Patriots Day. Some are secular, some are not. So the reason I'm talking about all this is next Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, yeah, it's Tuesday, is Cinco de Mayo, 5th of May. It's because the Battle of Pueblo is what happened was, some people think of, oh, that must be their 4th of July because they're celebrating the 5th. They won a battle, but they had won another battle 50 years before. They threw out the Spanish overlords. Spain used to control all of Mexico. And Mexicans revolted and won their independence way back when. 1810 or something like that. I don't know the date, but early 50 years ago, before this battle. And this battle was because the new president came into power, and there was Mexico owed too much money, and they defaulted on their loans. So France and Spain and England came over in ships and said, "Hey, we got to settle up here. You guys owe us money." And France and Spain and England all negotiated, but France is the only one that didn't settle. The other two went away with whatever they could get. And France said, "Okay, that's it. Oops, we're going to invade." So they invaded with like 8,000 soldiers, and the Mexicans got together quick, and they didn't have much. They had like only 2,000 people, but they held out. They held up at the top of the hill, and they won the battle. And it was a big, big thing, because at the time, this is just during the Civil War in America. We had our Civil War. This was all going on, and if the French were to win that war and take over France and take over Mexico, they were going to support the Confederates. And the Confederates, close to winning, maybe, could have gone either way back then. It was dicey. And the fact that they, Battle of Pueblo, held off the French, and it was a huge celebration. All of what used to be Mexican, up California, Colorado, New Mexico, all that used to be New Mexico, right? That all used to be part of Mexico. We took it away from them. Well, we fought a war with them just shortly thereafter. But anyway, at that time, it was huge. And so the France has to reconfigure everything, and then they came back a year later, 2 years later, whatever it was, and then they actually took over Mexico for a time. But by this time, the Union had won the Civil War, and so France said, "Oh, we can't be," because Napoleon III was running around doing what those people did back then, is trying to conquer everything. So they had to pull out, and that's how we ended up getting all of France, the Louisiana Purchase, and all of the western part of this country, which was Mexican. So a huge thing. And it was big for the Mexicans because, it was just a huge victory. They were well understaffed. I'm telling you, all this is just so you know, like, how to think about these things. Any holiday that you hear about has stories. It's really interesting to go on. I went onto the computer and looked up Cinco de Mayo, read all about the history. I find it fascinating. So anyway, what I'm suggesting that you can do today is I've invented this term called Invent-A-Day. So that means you are to invent a holiday. See if you can invent a holiday, and then we'll do some artwork for it. So in this case, I invented Cinco de Mayo, see, is COVID-19, because we're dealing with the COVID-19 a virus right now, aren't we? So I said, okay, I'm going to have a holiday called, not really a holiday, but a memorable day, saying COVID 19.0. If you take that point away, it's 190. So give me 190 days, which is roughly 6 months. Okay? So COVID 190 day is a day I'm going to celebrate, or not, like I said, not celebrate, but remember. It's like you remember Pearl Harbor when the Japanese bombed, because it wasn't a good thing, but it's memorable. So this is my memorable day is COVID 190 day. And get up and pray, wash your hands, wear a mask, stay indoors, care for one another, thank God for health, and wait. So those are things, it's kind of like a mini Lent. One day, like a mini Lent to think about, oh my goodness, remember when we had that virus? Because someday it'll be behind us. And then 6 months later is day 190 without the dot. And I call that Invent a Vaccine Day. So by then, hopefully we've invented the vaccine. Maybe before then. Hopefully it won't be 6 months, but I just took that 190 and figured, well, let's just make it into 190 days. We don't have to be in mourning for 6 months. We just think about it on one day. We think about it at the end of the period. So it's like an Easter. Okay? So that's some background information on how my process went, how I came up with this. Because here we are dealing with something we don't want to deal with, but we got to deal with it. And I'm going to combine this next thing with showing you how different art forms combine. Now, everything, singing, dancing, poetry, drawing, painting, just art forms. And all it is a mindset, creative way of thinking. Think creatively. So I have this book is given to me by somebody I met, Songs of the Spirit, and his name is Jack Heitner. So I don't know if he's still alive. He was alive when he gave me this, but he was in his 80s, a few years back. And he has different kinds of poems, but these are spiritual poems. And here's one. It's got a picture of a fellow's face. I don't know who that's supposed to be, but I'm going to read you this poem. And to me, this is like the whole theme of what I've just been talking about. We're in the middle of the virus. Things will be better someday, but right now we're just working our way through. So, I'm fumbling because this is how I'm going to work it out. This is a drawing I did after I read the poem. Okay. See that while I was drawing it, it's about a hurricane. It's called After the Hurricane by Oil Lamp. That's the name of the poem. Okay, so after the hurricane, dark sky lay starry still. The white flame, my friend, like a living blade of night, in the lamp's impassioned heart, gave me a comrade light. So he's talking about the little light there. Then, in the eye of the hurricane, blue sky opened still. The white sun, my friend, like a living blade of light from the day's impassioned heart, gave me a comrade's sight. In the wild wind of the hurricane, the wild wind, great trees were not still. The white light, my friend, a loving swordsman's blade, a knight's cleft, the trunk's pale vital hearts leaving fruit like comrade lights. Kind of wordy, but it gives you the idea. After the hurricane, dark sky lay starry still. Thy white flame, my friend, like a living blade of night, in the lamp's impassioned heart, gave me a comrade light. So the way I read that poem was, the hurricane came and went, and it was in the middle. There was the height of the hurricane, but then whoop, it can be destructive. And of course, while I was drawing it, I said, well, what am I going to do down here? Well, I had my hand in front of me, so I drew my hand. So there's somebody sitting in the window watching the hurricane. You see how the window's cracked? Everything's swirling and crashing and banging, but the light's still, and it's going to be good. Because that light is just nice and still. Just wait it out. So that's what we're doing. We're waiting it out. Okay, so that was what I did. I did, Coronavirus Day or Invented Day. And this is the picture I came up with, and I paired it with a poem. Sometimes it's nice to do that. If you can't think of something, find a poem and then draw a picture of what that poem shows. Now, the way that poem was structured, I could have written 5 or 6 little drawings to go with each thing, but I did one that showed kind of the lamp quiet, whirling, swirling clouds, and I showed the open part of the sky. So I showed a little of everything. So I did one drawing that only really illustrated half of the poem. But when you have a book and you're reading a picture book, you might read a whole chapter, but it may only have one picture in it. And so you just have to decide, well, that's part of what we just read. So to finish up with, I'm going to show you something I did when I was back in art school. I used to be a school teacher when I was young. And then I went back to art schools to be a graphic designer back in 1985, a long time ago. And one of my assignments was to take the year, the calendar year. We have our calendar, I got one on the wall here. There's 365 days, we all know that. And there's 12 months. But the assignment was to make, oh no, I'm not supposed to touch my face. But anyway, the assignment I was given was, okay, do your own calendar. So throw out the way we calendar that we use now and design one of your own. So here's what I did. And this is kind of funny because it's like the lesson we did a couple of weeks ago where I did the Venn diagram with the color wheel and we had the overlap. It's a version of the color wheel. Look. Okay. So, okay, here we go. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. All right. So every month is 60 days. So 6 times 6 is 36. So it's 360 days, but we have 365 days, right? So each month is 60 days. So each one of these areas is 60 days. And the extra 5 days, I stuck them right here. And that's just like New Year's week. So all those 5 days all jump together. That's it. Big party for 6 days. And now if you see the way it works is each one of these months, like this is the month of blue, okay? Here's how it works. You have 1, 2, 3, the white parts of the days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you get a 3-day weekend, 8, 9, 10. So each one of these little triangles is a week. You get 4 days, oh, it's going to be a long week, and then only 3, and then 2, and then a 3-day weekend. So weeks are 10 days long, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a month. So that's 60 days, 60, 60, 360. And then just to illustrate that's the year of, spring, summer, fall, winter. Of the things. And it's kind of interesting because if you just take a regular calendar and say, okay, I was born on the 7th of May, but on this calendar, here it is. Here's my birthday. It's the 46th of yellow. I was born on the 46th of yellow. And it is the same as May 7th. Same thing. It's just all New Year's, Jewish New Year's Day is in the end of the year, and that big long holiday. Labor Day is the 45th of blue. So it's kind of fun. So I plugged in my daughters, what would their birthday be? Passover and Easter are on the 5th and 6th of yellow. What else we got? Here's New Year's Day because it starts off with red. Because red is the primary color. New Year's Day is the first of red. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, 10 days each. There's 60 days of red. And you can just plug them in. So I had fun doing that. It's just taking a regular calendar of the Earth, regular calendar, and just changing how you structure it up. But if everyone did this, you could get used to the fact that you were born in one of the primary colors or one of the secondary colors. And you could be in the first week of 10-day weeks. So anyway, that's something I did in the past, but it all tied in with this. So if you can think of, just make up your own day. What would you want to commemorate? Would it be a secular day? Would it be a religious day? Would it be a little of each? You know, you could do like a Mardi Gras Lent kind of thing, or you could do a Halloween All Saints Day kind of thing, secular and religious, or just pick one or the other, or just make up any crazy thing you can think of. Make up the day, and what would happen? How would you mark that day? Would you have a parade? Would you be quiet and go meditate? Would you go out in nature, or would you get together with a lot of people and have big rallies? So, or both, you know, whatever you can think of. So be creative. Think of whatever you can think of, and see if you can just let your mind go. Because I put this all together in the last few days, and I didn't even think of this until yesterday. This part here, I did that thing about the calendar. You know, it isn't one day, but you could, if you wanted to, if you got inspired, you could make up several days and have things that you just, instead of a regular calendar, you could have all your days of the year that you celebrate. So that would be your homework if you want to do art homework. And if that doesn't apply to you or appeal to you, just think creatively, and it makes life better. If you think creatively, everything goes better. You know, I'm not liking being cooped up here, but by being creative and thinking up art lessons for you guys, you know, it's made my life more interesting, and I'm grateful for that. So that's all I have for today. I'm going to end the meeting. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Jesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. See you all later.